What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Hey, you guys know Mike Johnson? He's the Speaker of the House and currently the guy that shut down the government. Republican. All right, Republican. Now, I told you guys before that most of these anti-LGBT Republicans are fabulous, right? And I always knew, see, I got gaydar, all right, because I live in Washington, D.C. All right, you got to have gaydar, meaning your radar can sense a gay person coming a mile away, all right? Something about their skincare regimen and the way they wear their suits. And Mike Johnson, okay, he's been looking fabulous ever since he came on the scene as the Speaker of the House. Now, a lot of Republicans are fabulous, even though they pretend to have something against the LGBT community. Like Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. He's always been fabulous. And I'm willing to bet he likes to dress up in women's clothes. I'm willing to bet. You see, America is being ripped apart by the LGBT community that's still in the closet. Okay? That's the problem. I can see now. And Mike Johnson has shut the government down because he knows as soon as the government is open, we're going to get those Epstein files where we'll find all the other fabulous Republicans and fabulous individuals who went well beyond fabuloso, right? Into debauchery, touching little children. Keep in mind, the entire Republican Party is currently acting in unison to stop the Epstein files from being released. I want you to remember that. The entire political, entire political apparatus of America is stopping the public from finding out what rich white man in a suit and others, because I'm sure there's others who are not white but are rich, who likes little children and who will go out their way to get on a plane and go to a secret island to indulge in children activities. I want you to keep that in mind. But Mike Johnson, all right, Mike Johnson has been exposed for being very fabulous. All right, he's so fabulous. I had to bust out the fabulous dog. My dog, I'm pretty sure is fabulous. Because I said I got gaydar. Dogs are not included. They also can be fabulous. And this dog is fabulous. Okay? That's all I know. Him and Mike Johnson, same thing. All right? They're into the same thing. I'm pretty sure. And this is a boy. Okay? And he's fabulous. I'm sure he is. Right? I've seen it. Now, there was a guy who said, hey, Mike Johnson, if you don't open the government by Wednesday, I'm going to release your Grindr account. If you don't know what Grindr is, it's where very fabulous men get together so they can, hook up. Then there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with it. If two consensual men want to hook up, that's what they want to do. None of my business. Right? But to be a Republican Speaker of the House who pretends like he's against the fabulous community and then goes around and, participates in fabulous activities, you see, that's a problem. And it seems to be a thing that the Republicans do a lot. When they have their neo-Nazi rallies and their meetings, they crash the app called Grindr. Crashing means so many Republicans get on Grindr to take the opportunity to meet likewise individuals for, whatever conference they're going to. They crash the app. The app can't handle all the fabulousness that's happening in that area. Okay? And so this guy said, hey, I'm going to release your Grindr account. Mike Johnson, I'm sure he sent his fixers, some cleaners to put the press on this guy, right? And so he did the smart thing, and he made sure that others in the media got this information. And, well, some of it came out. And lo and behold, Mike Johnson is as fabulous as he looks. I knew there was something up because his skin is just too smooth, too clean. He wears his suits, too fitted. All right, look at everybody else and look at him. He's too well put together. That's how you know. That's one of the little indicators of fabulousness. Okay? So, yes, it is petty time. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with being fabulous. What's wrong is being fabulous. And because you can't deal with your fabulousness, you want to spew your insecurities out on all the people who are not afraid to be fabulous. And you want to make fun and you want to discriminate against them when you are just like them. You're just too afraid and too much of a coward to come out and embrace your fabulous self. Okay, so without further ado, let's enjoy this pettiness. How Mike Johnson, Mr. Fabulous, has been exposed. And one day we'll catch Lindsey Graham, all right? Because we know Lindsey Graham is fabulous. And there's a whole lot of those Republicans right now who are very fabulous. And I'm sure their fabulousness is the reason why they go along with certain votes. Because they too can be exposed by Mr. J. And we all know who Mr. J is, all right? Starts with a J, ends with a ooze. A lot of fabulousness going over there. Oh, and a lot of playing with little children too. Did you know, this is a side note, did you know that the United States and Israel have a thing to where if certain individuals indulge in children play and instead of going to jail, they can just go to Israel and live their lives out on the dime of the United States government? Did you know that? Yeah, real silent program where pedos get to go to Israel instead of going to jail. Yeah. So this is much bigger, all right? This is much bigger than we can even imagine what's behind, that closet that these rich white men and these powerful white men in suits are willing to expose. But I'm willing to bet it's 1,000 times worse than we can even imagine. But anyway, without further ado, let's look at how fabulous Mike Johnson really is. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comment section. This is Afro Think Tank and Pedro, because he's Spanish. All right, he's a Latina. I'm out.
Look, here comes a consequence. Consequences of my actions chasing me right now. I don't want no consequence. I don't want no consequences chasing me right now. Someone take this consequence. Someone take this consequence and chasing me right now. Jesus is the consequence. Jesus is the consequence chasing me right now. Look, here comes a consequence. Consequences of my actions chasing me right now. I don't want no consequence. I don't want no consequences chasing me right now. Someone take this consequence. Someone take this consequence and chasing me right now. Jesus is the consequence. Jesus is the consequence chasing me right now. Look, here comes a consequence. Consequences of my actions chasing me right now.
Okay, it's Tuesday, September 30th, 2025 at about 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In consultation with close friends, family, and my attorney, we have decided the following steps are necessary. Any and all materials in my possession related to this matter have now been turned over to a trusted media authority, an investigative journalist who will then vet the information and report as necessary. Any and all copies of this information that were in my possession are now out of my possession and have been turned over to several different sources. If anything should happen to me, this will trigger those sources to release that information as well. This is hard. This is something I never planned on. Obviously, it got the attention it did. TikTok has put an account ban warning on my account and taken down that video. So I'm keeping you updated, as many people have asked me to do. I am not backing down. This is democracy. Democracy will prevail. They may get me in the short term, but in the long term, democracy will prevail. Now is the time for us to stand up and speak out for what is right. They can remove my videos. They can silence me. It's your turn. Please stand up for what's right. Get loud. Civil disobedience may be the answer here. The best thing you can do, and people have asked me this, is to go to the link in my bio and help my legal defense fund. This is going to be very expensive, and lawyers like to get paid. This is in no way any type of a grift situation. I need to pay attorneys. And if you can so do, please do. And if you can't, please share out that link. This is our democracy. We need to stand up for what's right and what's good and defeat this evil regime. Well, it's Wednesday, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And if you're going to listen to this video, please listen in its entirety, okay? I would refer to my video yesterday when I told you that I had provided this information to my legal team, and it was then provided to a trusted media outlet. I no longer have this information in my possession. It is in several sources' hands. This media outlet is vetting this information and will report on it. I legally cannot post anything on here now. That is the advice of my attorneys. I am not protected by any type of journalistic law for defamation or anything like that. I cannot release these files on here. I simply can't. The sheer amount of death threats do something to a person. I'm nervous. I'm very frightened for my life right now. They're coming from everywhere, and they're graphic, and it's a little more than I can handle right now, but I know that's what they want, okay? As for my fundraiser, if you don't want to donate, don't donate to the fundraiser. I am paying lawyers. No lawyer is taking this pro bono. That's all I can tell you about that. I'm not scamming anyone. This is probably the hardest thing I've ever had to go through. I can't read all comments and answer all messages. But one thing I want to address is people saying that I'm an actor and a comedian. That's true. I'm an actor and a comedian. I do stand-up comedy frequently, and I'm in quite a few TV shows. I've lost my representation. I've lost every job that I had lined up. For safety reasons, obviously, my management and agent can't send me out on auditions right now because it's too hot. I'm still in hiding. I've been watching cameras at my residence, and I don't know how people are finding out where that is. But I'm not in that area. I'm in a different state completely. So I thank you. I know this is not what you were hoping to hear today, but rest assured this information will be out. I haven't stopped shaking in 3 days. I know there are consequences to words, and that's what I'm figuring out with my attorneys right now. This has been a lot. Thank you for the kind words and the messages of encouragement, and to the people who have donated to help me fight. They will try to silence you as they've tried to silence me. They will come for you. I found that out. Be safe out there.
In our opinion, one of the biggest freaks in Washington is the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. He is freakier than Nancy Mace, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and all of the other Trump sycophants combined. And there is a rumor, and I just want to state that there is a rumor, but I think we have to address it, on TikTok right now that Moses Mike Johnson is dipping his toes in Grindr. Kylie, put up the first slide. So apparently he is messaging with somebody who's in Washington, D.C. He says, "What luxurious hair you have." And the person on Grindr says, "Thank you. I would return the favor in giving you a compliment, but I don't know what you look like." And then allegedly, Moses Mike Johnson says, "Are you in town for a couple of days visiting DC?" And the Grindr person says, "Yes, I am. Are you offering me a tour?" And allegedly, remember you guys, this is all rumor. "I can give you one. I have a few contacts. We can go to the Dabney for dinner and then back to my place and I can blow your brains out while pulling on that luxurious hair." Now, again, I just want to say this is a rumor on TikTok, but I feel like it needs to be addressed. And then the guy on Grindr says, "Oh, straightforward, I see, LOL, especially from a man who won't show his face." And then this man says, "Very discreet here, married with a few kids, not trying to mess up my situation." Go to the next slide. And then it says, "What time should I pick you up from your hotel?" And it is a picture of none other than Moses Mike Johnson. Now, I want to say, I don't know if this is true or not, but I do want to say that I think that men, alleged straight men, that talk about gay people all the time, I personally believe that that's very Freudian, and I personally believe that they're probably gay or bi-curious. And so it's important for us to dig into the psychology of Moses Mike Johnson and his wife, Kelly. Put up the next headline. This is from Vanity Fair. "Mike Johnson's wife founded a company that equates being gay with bestiality and incest." Now, that's insane. That is insane. These people are fucking crazy. Okay. They are fucking crazy. Take away the Grindr thing. I don't know if that's true or not. I do know that during the Republican National Convention, Grindr crashed twice. But what married woman that's getting laid frequently by their husband thinks about gay sex and then equates it to bestiality and then thinks that they're a normal person?
Well, obviously these two, because they're nutballs. But interestingly enough, you have the covenant eyes, swapping porn and the kids. Everything is about staying away from sex, staying away from gay people. I'm with you. When you're talking about it all the time, you're trying to convince yourself. There's just no question about it. People secure in their sexuality, whether it's homosexuality, heterosexuality, bisexuality, they're not talking about it all the time.
You know what gay people don't sit around and talk about? Heterosexual sex.
Correct.
They're not consumed with it. They don't sit around and how can we end the straights? How can we end the heterosexuals? They don't give a shit. Healthy heterosexuals don't give a shit. Couldn't care less that people are gay. The only problem I have with the gays are these lesbians that I play pickleball and tennis with, and I'm just going to say they are better athletes. All right, let's move on to the next headline. Kelly Johnson. So Huffington Post reports that the wife of Moses Mike, Kelly Johnson, she runs a counseling business that in its opening documents compares being gay to, among other things, having sex with a family member or animal. Specifically, Onward Christian Counseling Service 2017 operating agreement states, quote, "We believe and the Bible teaches that any form of sexual immorality, such as adultery, fornication, homosexuality, bisexual conduct, bestiality, incest, pornography, or any attempt to change one's sex or disagreement with one's biological sex is sinful and offensive to God." I mean, these people sound like they're a fucking blast. I mean, can you imagine? They're just wound up like a cheap clock. It is not normal. Nothing about these two is normal. They are the biggest freak shows in DC because they are religious fanatics that are consumed with gay people having gay sex.
Well, and this was the mission statement that apparently she put up on her counseling service website. Like, our mission statement is this. Like, she's obsessed. She's every bit as obsessed
I'm
as Mike
just going to
Johnson.
say, I would think, and this is just my own, I think she's not getting laid.
Or I think she might, in my opinion, if you're talking about it this much or this worried about it, sounds to me like she might be a lesbian.
You think she's a big old leslie?
I kind of
each
think
other's
so.
beards?
Right.
I either think she's not getting it because Moses Mike is busy on Grindr, or like you said, she herself. And there's always this talk in liberal spaces that we can't talk about people that are allegedly in the closet. And this is where I disagree with this. I think that if the governor of Texas, who is in a wheelchair, tries to take away rights and recognition to other handicapped people, and he gets called Governor Hot Wheels, fucking good for that. this is fuck you politics. I think if there's a bunch of closeted, homosexual, obsessed, right-wing Christian fanatics in Congress or in the White House, and there's a lot of psychological, circumstantial evidence that seems to point to a Freudian case that these people are closet cases themselves. Tough titties. They're getting called out. Because let me tell you who the bravest people in this country are. The bravest people in this country are out of the closet homosexuals, especially those from red states, because it is brutal here. These churches and these the parents of gay people shame their own kids. So they are the bravest people in the United States of America. Next up, Moses Mike Johnson was appointed to be dean of a Christian law school. And the Christian law school wanted to teach biblical law, biblical worldview. Okay. So this is the Paul Pressler School of Law, and it would unashamedly embrace a biblical worldview. And so Moses Mike, again, he is appointed to be the dean of this whack job, nut job law school.
I'm no great legal scholar, but I went to law school, and there's no way that the Bible and the law can combine to educate somebody on how to operate in court, district courts, appellate courts. Like, they're not compatible. So this, obviously, the law school never came to fruition because A, it was stupid and it couldn't get accreditation. And B, there was alleged financial impropriety, which as a shock to no one. But this thing is nuts from the word go.
Let me ask.
You know, I'm not even looking for this stuff for real. This stuff is just falling in my lap. I'm not even trying to find it. Thanks to our girls at iHip News, they just did a story on Speaker Mike Johnson. And guess what he was doing? He was found on Grindr setting up a date with his gay ass. He came under fire about a year ago because his teenage son happens to be his accountability partner, monitoring their consumption of porn. How weird is that? What luxurious hair you have. Thank you. I will return the favor in giving you a compliment, but I don't know what you look like, says the recipient. Apparently, Mike Johnson replied, are you in town for a couple of days visiting DC? The recipient says, yes, I am. Are you offering me a tour? Mike Johnson allegedly says, I can give you one. I have a few contacts. We can go to the Dabney. And for those that don't know, the Dabney is a very schwink restaurant in DC. You're not going there if you ain't got no money, okay? And we move on for a dinner, then back to my place, and I can blow your brains out while pulling on that luxurious hair. The person replies, oh, straightforward, I see. LOL, especially from a man who won't show his face. Mike Johnson then goes on to say, I'm very discreet here, married with a few kids, not trying to mess up my situation. Like I said, we're not looking for this stuff. This stuff is falling in our lap. These people are the biggest hypocrites you ever did see. Mike Johnson, come on out the closet, bruh. Come on out. It's nice outside. In the truth. In the light. Sound off in the comments. This is Nuance News.
So Politifact messaged me inquiring about the Mike Johnson Grindr conversation. And they wanted to verify that this was a true story. And they asked to speak directly to the person who was making these claims. And so I messaged the person and I said, you know, Politifact wants to message you. Do you want to talk to them? Well, he said no. Obviously, he wants to remain anonymous. The only reason why he shared it with me is because he's been following me and he trusts me. So I told them that he said he's not willing to do that. And Politifact went through with the story and claimed that there's no truth to it and it's a false story because the picture that he shared was from March 5th, 2025. And so then I reached back out to the person and I said, hey, they're saying that this picture was from March 5th, 2025. What gives? And he responded and said, no. This picture was from 2023. And he sent me an uncropped version of the conversation with the date. And it checks out. That picture was sent in 2023. 2023. So he was having this conversation on Grindr with Mike Johnson, allegedly, in 2023, which was before Mike Johnson became Speaker of the House. This is another argument that Politifact is making, that why would the Speaker of the House be sharing his picture and be meeting at a public place and blah, blah, blah. This was before he was Speaker of the House. Case closed.
The chair lays before the House a communication.
The Speaker's Rooms, Washington, D.C., October 3rd, 2025. I hereby designate the period from Tuesday, October 7th, 2025, through Monday, October 13th, 2025, as a district work period under Clause 13 of Rule 1. Signed sincerely, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House of Representatives.
I think that maybe it has to do with the fact that I am the 218th signer to push for a vote on the release of the Epstein files. And, I don't know. So there's a lot of questions. I plan on going to Washington on Monday to caucus with other Democrats. Leader Jeffries has asked us to be there, and so I am going.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.